All right, everybody. A lot of you have been asking for some advice about ergogenic aids, so I threw this little presentation together. I'm going to be going over how caffeine affects sports performance. Quick rundown of our agenda. I'm going to go over what caffeine is, the advantages and disadvantages of using caffeine with sports, NCAA rules and regulations regarding caffeine, and then I'll throw in some recommendations about how to use caffeine as an ergogenic aid. Okay, let's get into it. What is caffeine? Many people consume it every day. Jugendrup and Gleason states that around 75% of caffeine that is consumed daily is through coffee. So caffeine, technically, it's a chemical compound composed of 8 carbon atoms, 10 hydrogen atoms, 4 nitrogen, and 2 oxygen. We've been consuming caffeine since the Paleolithic times through teas, chocolate, fruit of the coffee plant. It's readily absorbed in digestion, and blood levels peak about 60 minutes after ingestion. The effects last between 2 to 10 hours depending on body composition, and the effects vary greatly due to your genetics. There's 4 genes responsible for this. Jugendrup and Gleason state that they are CYP1A2, ADORA2A, CYP1A2, and COMT. The combination of how these 4 genes interact determine how you will respond to caffeine. And this could be anywhere from just a little bit to a lot. You wake up in the morning, you drink coffee to feel awake and alert. Studies have shown the consumption of caffeine before exercise has led to increased time to exhaustion, improved cognitive function, max weight lift increase, and improved sprint times. It's also been shown to reduce perceived fatigue. Jugendrup and Gleason state that when it comes to team sports, the improved cognitive function provided by caffeine has a very big positive effect. Caffeine has some terrible side effects if you're not careful. Gastrointestinal distress, headaches, tachycardia, restlessness, irritability, high blood pressure, all on the table. Habitual extreme consumption has been linked with seizures, comas, peptic ulcers, and sometimes death. The NCAA has caffeine banned, so there's a limit to how much you can consume and how much can be in your body during game time. 15 micrograms per milliliter is the maximum you're allowed to have. To achieve this, you would need about 500 milligrams of caffeine 2 to 3 hours before you play the game. So it might not seem like a lot, but there are some crazy concentrations in these drinks out there, guys. Caffeine drinks come in all sorts of different concentrations, as you can see on this slide. 5-Hour Energy, 2 ounces, 215 milligrams. Bang Energy, 16 ounces, 300 milligrams. Starbucks Dark Roast, 195 milligrams for a grande. All of these, you really got to pay attention to what you're consuming because you do not want to go outside of the NCAA rules. You and your coaches, you have to be conscious of how much you're consuming, so be careful. As I said previously, caffeine affects everybody differently, so working with your coaches and trainers, we're going to find the right dose. We're going to consider your size, age, gender, usage history, and tolerance level. Zuckman et al. 2008 has a great article about the considerations for athletes wanting to utilize caffeine as an ergogenic aid. Jugendrup and Gleason recommended dosage only around 5 to 6 milligrams per kilogram of body weight. These dosages have been seen to increase motor skills and cognitive performance, which will be vital on the court. Studies have found that if you gradually decrease your consumption 3 to 4 days before competition, it will increase how caffeine affects you come to game day. That doesn't mean quitting cold turkey. Stopping like that would lead to withdrawals, which would negatively impact your performance. On game day, Zuckman recommends ingesting caffeine no later than 3 hours before the game. This is due to the half-life of caffeine being 4 to 6 hours, with your plasma concentration peaking around 30 to 60 minutes. Thanks for sticking with me through this. I hope you learned something about caffeine. I'll see you guys on the court. Good luck with your season.